so you can record on your end too.
Dope, just started. Appreciate you. So I got Ricky Carruth, Orange Beach, Alabama, author of List to Last and Zero to Diamond. I want to let you know off rip, I appreciate everything that you do for the real estate broker community, the real estate agent community. You and your scripts have helped me get to where I am today as far as the #1 agent in my company. Deal Properties Group. Have the most listings in my company, most sales as of this year in my company, so on and so forth. So I do attribute a lot of that to you, your scripts, your cold calling techniques, and it's a great honor to be able to speak with you today. So I wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Glad to do it. Glad it's working, and congrats on the success.
Appreciate it. So I'm gonna jump right into it because I know that you're pressed for time and everything like that. So Ricky, what I do, my lead generation source is a cold call. So I have a minimum of 100 cold calls a week that I hold myself to. That's when the phone is ringing. 20 conversations. Out of those 20 conversations, I want 15 listing appointments. Out of those 15 listing appointments, I want to have 10 listings, and I do that on a weekly basis. I track my numbers on a spreadsheet, and I put myself against myself month to month, year to year, right? So I wanted to know, why circle prospecting as your way to develop relationships instead of the traditional FISBO or expired listings?
Well, to me, number one, it's unlimited, right? You can't call all the property owners. I mean, you can call all the for sale by owners and all the expires, unless you go old expires, right? So it's an unlimited abyss, right? So that's one reason. Another reason is kind of backdoor on the market, right? Most people are doing expires and for sale by owners, but nobody's really doing circle prospecting. I mean, until I've actually tried to make it a mainstream activity that agents do. Even if a lot of agents are circle prospecting, it doesn't matter, because what's the chances that you're going to call the same subdivision? And if you do call the same subdivision, what's the chances that you're going to do it on the same day? Most of the time it's going to be 6 months apart, a couple, a year apart. I mean, there's just so much. It's such a big sea. And so with circle prospecting, I think of it like I'm a politician, right? I'm out there canvassing the market. I want to let everybody in the market, every single property owner in my market, know who I am, what I do, and I'm here to help. And start building that brand. And so, I look at it more on a grander, more macro level. And I like to sprinkle the expireds in there as well, though. I like to sprinkle the expireds in there as well, though. When I'm coaching my students, I like to sprinkle expireds in there. Where I just stuck to circle prospecting. The reason I did is because there were only a couple of expireds every day in the market. So it was a very small number of expireds, number one. And number two, I didn't have Red X and these other systems where I could actually, I couldn't pick up old expireds like you can today with the click of a mouse. Hell, if I could click, if I were an agent now still building my business, man, I would be crushing a year-old expired, 6-month-old expireds, because I can get them with the click of a mouse. I mean, it's just, I think of it as I'm canvassing the market. That's what I think of when I think of circle prospecting.
When did you discover that worked for you? Like, were you going to circle prospecting, were you door knocking, were you handling expired, so on and so forth, and it just clicked to you that circle prospecting might be the best way to go for you?
Yeah, well, I was doing mail outs at the time, right? So I would pick different subdivisions and complexes out, and I would send mail outs. And so I was already targeting certain subdivisions and stuff through direct mail. And, and I would follow up with phone calls, and, what I realized was a lot of people in there, they weren't getting the mail. Either it was a wrong address or return address, or it was something like that. Or maybe they were, I don't know, too new in the subdivision. I hadn't updated my files or whatever. And so there was a lot of people that weren't getting my mail that I still ended up connecting with on the phone when I called the subdivision. I thought, hey, I don't even have to mail these people, right? Most of the people I'm connecting with aren't even getting my mail, and I'm having great results. So why am I spending money on mail? I'll just call every subdivision in my area. And in the meantime, I was also dabbling with, I tried for sale by owners. I gave it several really honest attempts to make for sale by owners a leg of my business, to make expireds a leg of my business. And it just didn't really jive with me. I like for there to be more than I can handle of whatever I'm doing. And with circle prospecting, it's literally, you'll never call all the property owners in your area unless you live in a very, very small place. And if you do, just when you get through calling them, call them all again. I mean, to me, it's just it's a more grander, like, it's just, the numbers are there for me. It makes sense, and two, it's personal branding. I want everyone in the market, as many people as possible, to know who I am, voice to voice wise. I mean, you can get a for sale by owner and put a sign up and people see the sign, and that's great. People see your signs around town and stuff like that, and I do that as well. I mean, when I get listings, I'll put signs up and people see my signs, but I don't know, man, everything works, right? Everything works. You just got to figure out what works best for you.
That makes sense. That's fair. Al, I know that you talk a lot about doing things in the subdivision, Phoenix and things like that. So question is, why do you target subdivisions? Like me personally, I like condos. Co-ops, a little less than condos because of the condo board, co-op board you have to deal with. But I'd rather represent a $1.2 million condo, $1.5 million condo any day, possibly even over a $1.5 million house. So why do you target apartments, condos, and subdivisions?
Why don't I go after condos?
No, why do you target like the subdivisions rather than like houses, multi-families, mixed use properties? Like, why do you target subdivisions?
Well, the thing is, man, is actually what I target, actually, to be honest with you, what I target is Gulffront condos, right? That's my market. That's Gulffront condos, so yeah, that's what I do. I'm a condo guy, So the reason I use the word subdivision is because I'm catering to, any market, any agent, any market. I mean, not every market has a lot of condos, and vice versa, right? So there's not a whole lot of multifamilies around here in my market. I'm in a small town. I'm in small town Alabama, dude. Our population in Gulf Shores is like 10,000, and Orange Beach is like 8,000. So we're looking at like an 18,000 population. Now we have 7 million visitors every year that come down to the beach, right? So it's a busy small town during the season, but it's a very small place in terms of population, and there's just not a whole lot of multifamily. Commercial really isn't the thing down here, as far as commercial and apartment complexes and, different things like that. So, it just depends on what market you're in, right? So what you have to do is you have to figure out, okay, what is the best, highest use of my time in terms of niche of property. So for me down here, Gulffront condo, I mean, there's probably 50,000 condos on the beach in my area here, with the average price of 450,000. I closed on one last week for 1.65, another for 1.25. This is last week. And, so, you got to go wherever it's hot, wherever the money is, wherever you feel like is your best opportunity for, the most dollars per hour spent, and so for me, what you're talking about is, why don't you go after the more, the hotter properties with the higher end, the higher end properties, stuff like that. And I am, it's Gulffront condos. So it just depends on what market you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me, myself, the reason I'm so into condos and co-ops is, as a kid, there was a show called 101 with Kyla Pratt, Flex Washington, and things like that. And I just remember seeing them in this luxurious, I think, duplex, whatever. And ever since I saw that episode, and I might just be skewing it up in my mind, and I really might not even be that, I don't know. But I just remember seeing that, and I was like, wow, that's so dope. So since then is when I wanted to get in real estate. So, it might be cliche, I've always wanted to do real estate, but, that's really been something that I wanted to since that episode. So once I get a condo, it's like I take extra care of it. This reminds me, has that nostalgia factor to it. So
Right.
I'm happy. I'm happy representing a $1.5 million townhouse, but a little bit happier with the condo because it just means a little bit more to me, you know?
Right, 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 right. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, man. Like it's all personal, right? So it's just like
Mhm.
whatever makes you feel good, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And hey, some people love representing first-time home buyers. Some people love, dealing with the lower end properties. So I mean, they
Mhm.
love it. They love it. I mean, I know agents. That they could be like, they could be mega agents, but they choose to stay in the lower end residential space. I mean, so and they're happy with it, right? So it
Mhm.
all just comes down to what you think is best, what you feel comfortable with, and whatever that is what you need to do. That's what I think. It's like not about what we think they should do, it's about what they think they should do, and go after what they think is best. So I'm going to go after whatever the hottest is.
Mhm. Now, I know that you meet with believe you have an assistant, if not two or three. I remember seeing them in a video, and they were like writing cards down and stuff like that. How often do you meet with them? How often do you meet with yourself?
I meet with myself once a day in the mornings.
Okay.
Really prioritize everything and figure out what's most important, and kind of prioritize the schedule, make sure I know everything going on for the day, and look at everything. And then I meet with my assistants, maybe once a week, something like that. But we're in constant communication all day, every day.
Got it.
Yeah. I've got
You
one
said,
maid. I got one
sorry, go
maid
ahead.
that's been with me for 7 or so years, and she's the backbone to everything. And then I have another assistant that just kind of handles projects and runs errands and different things like that.
Mhm. Awesome. So, what is like your ultimate goal? I know that you're in the process of being the number one agent in America, which, if not already, very close to being so. I know that you became a free agent, not a free agent, a free coach because of how you were in the past, and you were charging people in the beginning, and then you started to feel like it might be a scam and so on and so forth. You just need coaches because they can't make money, and you can't get money because they need coaching, so on and so forth. And you want to help as many agents as possible, which is when the transition happened. So what is your ultimate goal now? Is it to like retire knowing that you're the number one coach in America or number one coach in the world? Is it to help as many agents as possible? What is Ricky Carruth's ultimate goal?
Well, at this point, I just want to help agents. So when you say ultimate goal, I'll tell you what it really is. It's legacy of my message trickling down from generation to generation, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead and gone, I want the next generation of real estate agents and the next generation of real estate agents to be able to look back on my content and realize that it's about people, not deals, and not try to force the deal, right? Because buyers and sellers are already doing deals, right? Closings are happening every day. So why do we have to force them into doing something that they're already doing? See, the
Mm.
problem is they're not doing it. The prospect isn't doing it as fast as the agent want. It goes back to what we were saying about agents, not in the right niche or not in the better niche. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is like, it's not about what we think they should do. It's not about what we think the agents should do. It's not about what we think our prospects should do. It's about what they want to do. Right.
Wow.
And so
Mm-hmm.
maybe they want to buy or sell in next year, or maybe they want to buy or sell in 6 months. And they have a very good reason for that. But if you're not listening to what that reason is, you're not trying to help them through that process to buy or sell in 6 months. You're just trying to get them to sign the line today, right? Then you're going to lose that client, right? And if you lose that client, you've literally lost 10 to 20 deals over the life of your career through repeat business referrals and referrals of referrals, all because you try to get them to do a deal too soon. They're already doing the deal. And so what I'm trying to, my message is try to help people understand how to communicate the fact that we're not salespeople. We're just processors. We're just helping people do what they're already doing.
Deep.
Um, yeah. And so I'm trying to get that across, and hopefully, it is going deeper and deeper and deeper into the industry. I hope that it goes and it hits generation after generation after generation, so that, you know, people for hundreds of years can continue to, you know, to take my philosophies and get out there and succeed, you know? So that's really the ultimate goal.
That's deep. And you said something about like not listening, right? Which is supremely important in a real estate deal, real estate transaction. Relationships over transactions, so on and so forth. Like, you know, you love to preach it, and I love that philosophy that you have. Now, I know one of the most important things is to listen to what they're not saying. Right? Like I guess like read between the lines, so on and so forth. Like,
Yeah. See, that's something that you get better at, reading people, kind of knowing what they're saying without saying it.
mm,
You know, and you know what that comes from? It comes from not having expectations.
mm,
Yeah, when you're not expecting them to do a deal, and you take the transaction part out of the equation for just a second and actually listen, your mind, it actually opens up and you can actually hear what they're really trying to tell you. But when you're so blinded by the thought of a possible transaction and you're so focused on just trying to get a deal done, your mind's kind of, you know, you have a little roadblock there in your mind that doesn't really allow your mind to be opened up all the way, you know, where you can really pick up some of these signals.
mm.
So like most of the time when somebody answers the phone on a cold call, that first couple seconds, I can hear their voice and I can tell you exactly how the whole call is going to go. You know, because I've done it so much and I know exactly where this is going. I know what I'm going to say. I know what they're going to say. I know the whole thing. You know, I'm 90% sure where this conversation is going. You know, that's just a level of from experience doing it over and over and over again. You know, showing property. I still show property. I still show all my buyers. I still go to every listing appointment. And I've been doing this for 18 years and I can, you know, I can be showing a buyer and I can pretty much tell you if they're really going to buy today and which one they're going to buy, even if they don't tell me, right? Because I've seen it over and over and over again, you know? So yeah, absolutely. But you know, what everybody should understand is that's something that you develop over time. That skill is something you develop over time. It's nothing you're just going to learn in a book or learn by listening to a podcast. It's something that you have to learn through experience over time. Yeah.
Actual experience.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So just two more questions, because I know you're really pumped for time. So they have something called a wall. You feel like you can't go any further, you're exhausted, you want to give up. Has there ever been a time in your real estate career where you just felt like you hit a wall? And if so, what was it?
All the time, man, to be honest with you, right?
Wow.
Yeah, all the time.
Unexpected.
Yeah, all the time, man, all the time. I mean, you know, when I get extremely busy sometimes, you know, I'm
Okay.
like, why am I even doing this anymore? You know, I got money, right? Why am I still showing property? Why am I still doing this? You know,
Mm.
the coaching, you know, there was, you know, the first year I started coaching, I lost 100,000 on it. You know, I invested 100,000 with zero return.
Mm.
I'm spending most of my time on it, right? I'm spending way more than 50% of my time on something that loses money when I have a business that makes me $1 million. And I'm thinking, should I be investing my time back into my business that makes me $1 million, or should I be investing more in this business that loses 100,000 a year? You know, and so there were moments that I had to ask myself, you know, am I doing the right thing? Do I really want to continue down this path? You know, but you know what keeps me going is the messages from agents who are succeeding at such high levels because of my content, because of what I'm doing, because of what I'm preaching. And that's what really keeps me going, is knowing that I'm helping a lot of people. You know, and that's kind of what keeps me going. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be selling properties and, you know, making my $1 million and going home. But, you know, the motivation from other agents that are succeeding, and, you know, like I get messages from people that said, hey, I was about to quit, the business 6 months ago, but I found you online. I've been following and now I'm crushing it. I get those kind of messages all the time. And when you know that you've affected someone that was about to quit the business, and now they've got momentum and they're rolling and they're closing deals and they're getting listings and they understand the philosophies behind really building a solid business, that's a very humbling experience to get a message like that, much less messages like that constantly. So yeah, and then when I lost everything, I made $1 million before I was 23 and lost it all in the crash and went bankrupt, sleeping on friends' couches, slept in my car. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know what I was going to do really. So there's been some definite moments, but what I've seen, man, with myself through those moments is I have those moments and I question myself, but I never quit moving forward. It was like in high school when I was playing football, I got hurt. And I told my mom and dad, I got hurt at practice or something. I told my mom and dad, I was like, I don't know if I want to play anymore. Kind of deal. They're like, you're gonna play. I was like, I don't know if I am, but I went to practice the next day and I kept going. And I was one of the top players on the team by the time I graduated. And so I like, you come to these forks in the road, where it's like you can go one way or another. You feel some type of way, and you don't think this is the right way. But I've always, not even by choice, I didn't even choose to continue going. It's just something I naturally just did. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think about quitting. I think about it all the time. It's different stages, right? So now I'm at the stage where I don't have to sell. I can retire right now and live very well for the rest of my life. I'm set. Right. So I think about, why am I still working so hard? Why am I getting up at 4:30? Why am I pushing? I'm pushing harder now than I've ever pushed to build it. And because I have the coaching and the real estate. And I ask myself, yesterday was a very stressful day and I was thinking, what is this for? And why am I doing this? But for me, it's about squeezing every last drop I can while it's here, so that the next generation and next generation and next generation can feel that energy and feel that my presence, to a point that it affects their life and their business. That's what I'm really after at the end of the day.
Oh, that's deep. That's loaded. And I appreciate the transparency. I wouldn't think that. It put things in perspective for me, where it was like, sometimes it's hard for me to want to push forward and things like that. And almost like on a weekly basis, I hit a wall. And, seeing people like you, I just interviewed Chase J. Miles maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And, he tells me his walls, and, it gives me motivation and things like that. So my last question is, what is your craziest real estate story?
Craziest real estate story?
Yeah.
I got so many of them,
Give me the one that popped in your head when I said that.
Yeah, I've just had so many wild situations, and I forget most of them, because I always look ahead, and I have so much going on. It's hard for me to jam it all in there, but I've had just the wildest rides on some of these deals, just your normal. You've got your normal nightmare clients, your normal nightmare clients that really just string you out and blame you for everything.
Yeah.
And you didn't do nothing wrong. You actually went above and beyond, but nothing's ever good enough for them. I'm normally dealing with one of those every month or so. But yeah, nothing really, no specific thing that's monumental, that's worth even talking about comes to mind. But I can tell you this, man, I've had some wild rides. I've had some very, very, very wild deals. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to your expectations. I never expect anything to work out. I'm just here to try to help it if it does. I've had deals fall through, huge deals fall through at the last minute. So there was one deal I had. It was a $90,000 commission,
Wow.
and yeah, it was right when the pandemic started earlier this year, and you know, the buyers, you know, and there was 10 owners involved, right? 10 sellers,
Mm.
because it was a building that blew away in the hurricane.
Wow.
There was 10 owners, and they still own the property, but the building blew away, and they've owned it since 2004 when the hurricane. I've had it listed for like 6 years.
Mm.
And finally, I had a buyer in place, getting both sides, and you know, went through this whole long process, man, whole long process to get everybody on board, to accept it. I mean, it was wild. I mean, really wild to get 10 people on the same page. And then we get down to it, and the pandemic happens, and the buyers say, we're not closing, we can't close, you know? And, you know, and then somehow, some way, they decided to go ahead because the sellers were like, all right, we're going to sue you then. And so the buyers just kind of said, all right, they went ahead and closed, you know? So it was like such a roller, it was such a roller coaster, you know? It was like, you know, so, and that 90,000 I was actually using to buy my office here. I bought a new building. That was when I bought it. And so I didn't need the 90,000 to do it, but it was sure going to help, you know? So it came through. So, you know, there's all kinds of wild stories.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Ricky, I appreciate you. I don't want to go over the time we agreed to. So this was a super honor. I really appreciate you. After this, I'm gonna do some cold calls. I actually do live cold call sessions on my YouTube channel as well, where you know I'm talking to the sellers and things. And I look back and you know I watch the game tapes. You know, football players and they all watch the game tapes. Why not real estate agents? You know, I want to get better. So I sit back, watch my game tapes, and it improves. I use your script, and it helped me get this far.
Cool.
I want to let you know I appreciate you, Ricky. I love you for everything. This, I hope one day meet you in person, maybe take you out for dinner, and you know we talk in person.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just stay in touch and let me know what I can do to help.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Have a great one, Ricky.
Thanks, brother.